bookworms! Today I'm going to be doing a very exciting and a very highly requested video, and that is my 2019 bullet journaling for books setup video. I did a setup video for, I want to say it was 2018. A lot of people kept asking me to do an update, to tell you if I'm doing anything differently. Essentially, what you need to know is that I kind of fell off of bullet journaling because I really just didn't have the time to devote to it. But now I'm in a better place. I have a lot more time. I'm able to do it. And I really just find it so therapeutic and enjoyable to be able to keep track of my reading year in this kind of format. And I'm really excited to share it with you guys today. There are some things that you'll see that will be similar to what I did in my previous Bookish bullet journal, but there are definitely new additions that I'm excited to be keeping track of this year. I'm gonna totally change views now and let's get into it. Okay, so now we're up to the flip through portion of the video. This is the bullet journal that I'm going to be using for all of my bookish purposes this year. It says notes on spellmanship and it has this adorable little witch character on the front. I will leave the website name linked down below where you can get it from the artist. Her name is Ariel Jill Villanos, but I'm probably not saying that correctly. This is my favorite bullet journal, and I actually have another one of the exact same thing from her that I use for other purposes. I have not actually drawn a cover page just yet. I think I'm probably going to do that a little bit later, when I think of something that I want to have there. I'm just going to get right into what I have done. First, over here, I have a page set up for all of my 2019 stats. So what I'm going to be keeping track of, I have a month column, so January through December. I have a column of books read, so I'll write down the number of books that I read each month. I have a column for YouTube subs, so the amount of subscribers that I pick up for each month. Same thing with Instagram followers. Same thing with numbers of authors that I've met, and same thing with books hauled. So these are my overall 2019 stats, and then at the end I have a total, so I'll be totaling them throughout the year, and then right below that I have my goals set up. I decided to blur these out because they're kind of personal goals, so I didn't feel like I needed to share those. Then on this next page here, I have my marked as read calendar. So this is just an overall layout of the entirety of 2019, the calendar year, and every time that I finish a book, I'm actually going to circle that date so that I know that I finished a book on that date, and if I finish 2 books on the same date, I think I'm gonna circle it and color it in. Next, I have a 2019 reading challenges page, as well as a Kristen's year in reading page in a book. So this is essentially my Goodreads challenge. I want to read at least 130 books, which you can see my goal is written out right there. And every time that I read 5 books, I'm going to color in the stripes. So throughout the year, this book will hopefully get filled up to the top. Next, I have a page of all of my bookish resolutions for 2019. I actually have made a video about this that you will see shortly, or you have already seen. Then on the following page, I have my 2019 priority TBR. So these are books that I most definitely want to read in 2019 more than anything else. Next, I made a little book bingo page for myself. So just a couple of goals that I want to complete. I want to read an ebook, I want to read a sequel, if I buddy read a book, if I read a diverse author, an award-winning book, just a whole bunch of kind of the Pop Sugar Challenge. I just wanted to check off a couple of boxes to make sure that I'm reading a wider variety of things than just what's within my comfort zone. Then next to that, I drew my bookshelves, and I drew a shelf, and I'm going to be writing down books that I have on my physical TBR, and then as I read those, I will also color those in throughout the year. Next, I made a page for my 2019 rereads, so this is where I will keep track of any books that I've read for the second or third or fourth time. Harry Potter will be on this list for sure. Then I made a page for my signed book collection. So because I'm in New York, I am lucky enough to attend a lot of book signings, and I wanted to keep track of all of the signed books that I added to my collection in 2019, so that is what this page is for. Then this is slightly off topic, but I made an ice cream list, so I'm also going to keep track of all of the dates that I go and have ice cream with friends, or Andrew, or I don't know, by myself. And then I also have a page for bookstore visits and events, so anytime that I either just go to a bookstore for fun, or if I go for a specific event, I want to write down the date and which store I went to, just to keep track of it because why not? Then I made a page for Broadway. So this is where I'm going to keep track of all of the Broadway shows that I see in 2019. Andrew and I already have tickets to see The Lifespan of a Fact with Daniel Radcliffe, so I'm pretty excited to start my year off with that one. And then I have a list for the movies that I see in 2019. I think that this page will be more than enough because I tend not to watch that many movies. Then I've got a page for anime, so this is where I'll write down all of the anime series that Andrew and I watch throughout the year. And finally, I have a Penguin Drop Caps page. So the Penguin Drop Caps collection are that series of books that are all in rainbow order and they go from A through Z. So I colored in all of the ones that I already have with the color that corresponds with the cover of the book, but I'm so close to completing it, so I really want to complete my collection in 2019. So I made like a little list and then I will color them in as I complete the collection. Then I made a series TBR page. So these are some series that I've either started reading and I really want to finish with in 2019, or there's some series that I want to start and haven't actually read anything from yet, but again, want to start in 2019. Just realized that I've actually read Air Awakens and I need to check that one off, and I have to look up the Penderwick's titles, but I just read the first one and loved it, so I just added that to my book. Then I made a 2019 Owl Crate page. Over here, I'm going to keep track of each book that comes per month in the Owl Crate, and I want to make a big effort to read the majority of them. Then I also made a little classics TBR page, so these are a bunch of classic books that I want to read during 2019. I failed my classics challenge for last year, but I have realized that what works for me most is reading children's classics, and there are a bunch of them that have been on my list for a while, so those are listed out here. One of the exceptions actually is Wuthering Heights, and that one I really want to read in January with Alexa. Then I have a binge mode Harry Potter page that I've made, so pretty much what I want to do is reread the entire Harry Potter series, but I'm going to read it throughout the entirety of 2019. So I set a list of chapters that I'm going to read per week. It's about 5 chapters a week, and it corresponds with the episodes of the Binge Mode podcast. So after I read chapters 1 through 5, then I'll listen to the Binge Mode podcast for chapters 1 through 5. And they actually did this reread just from the summer until the end of this year. I could not keep up with it. So that's why I feel like I'm going to need the entire year to do it. And I think that it'll be easy to do if I do just 5 chapters per week instead of 5 chapters a night like they were doing. And then there's also time to watch the movie after each book that I've read. Now we're getting into my January setup. So here I have decided, like, this is going to be my basic monthly setup. So for here I have January new releases. So by week, these are all of the books that are coming out. And then I put a little blue dot next to anything that I've already read. I've already read The Wicked King, so that's why there's a dot there. There will soon be a dot next to Slayer, hopefully next week. Oh, actually I read The Gilded Wolves. I have to put a dot there too. But these are everything that's coming out so that I know if there's anything that I want to pick up to add to my collection. And right next to that is my setup for my January TBR, but I'm a mood reader, so I usually tend to pick my TBR like very close to the next month, so I haven't solidified it yet. There are a couple of things that I know I want to read. Then I have a haul page, so this is where I'll write down all of the books that I acquire in January. Then I have a booktube page, and this is where I'm going to write down all of the videos that I either plan to do or the videos that I post. I'll probably like keep a running list of ideas on my Trello board because that's usually how I organize, and this will be like the dates and titles of the videos that I post. Then I have a page for books that I have read. In my past Bookish bullet journal, I actually broke down 6 of the elements that I use to determine my star ratings for books, but I found that having to draw it out for every single book was kind of annoying and it discouraged me from using it. So now I'm just going to be writing like the book that I read and the star rating that I give it, as opposed to that whole giant breakdown. And then on the page afterward, I'm really excited about this one. This page was inspired by Riley from Riley Marie. She did a video about her Bookish bullet journal, and she said that it really helps her to have a list of her daily page count. That helps her read more because she wants to obviously have the lines filled in. So on this column going downward, I have the days of the month, and then going across, I have a count by 10, so like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, going all the way up to 240, and I will color in however many pages I read per day. And that is it. That's all that I have so far for my Bookish bullet journal. I'm sure that I will come up with other things that I'm going to use throughout the year and see how like the system is working for me. But hopefully you found something new in here, and hopefully this can inspire you for your own bookish bullet journal if that's something that you're interested in doing. I'm really excited that I have more time this year to put into it, and I just cannot wait to dive in. I set this up back in November and it like killed me that I couldn't use it for all of December. That is my bookish bullet journal. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys soon in a new one. Bye!